Hello, I'm Judy Stiles. Thank you for joining us this week on Newsmakers. Well, if you've been watching this program, you know we have many art programs in the region. We've talked about them throughout the years. Well, today we're talking about the Midwest Regional Ballet program. And joining me is Kaye Lewis, the artistic director. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me here today.
Kaye, when you meet someone on the street and they say, well, what is the Midwest Regional Ballet? How do you explain that to them?
Well, Midwest Regional Ballet, we're a dance school first, and then we're also a performance dance company. I think the word ballet has such a stigma attached to it that it's just classical, it's boring, it's tights, it's tutus, and it's really not. It's a variation of styles. We do classical ballet like Midsummer Night's Dream, Cinderella, The Nutcracker, but they also do original neoclassical ballet pieces, like we've done. Well, we just recently did Under the Covers, which was all cover songs done by other people, but the ballet pieces were modernized or classical mixed with contemporary ballet.
Quite
so
a
yeah,
variety of what you can do with it.
Yes, and in the past we've done Alice in Steampunk Wonderland, which was a ballet, but it was like a modern ballet. So.
Well, when you say regional, what region are we talking about?
We basically have dancers from all over the four-state area. I've had dancers from Arkansas, as far as Arkansas. I've had dancers from Neosho, Miami, Kansas, Missouri. So that's the region that we're kind of.
Four-state region. And
yes.
where are you actually located then?
We're actually located at 507 South Wall, across from the Family Y.
So right in the heart of downtown Joplin.
Right in the heart of downtown Joplin. Yes, it's kind of a warehouse space because of the aerial ballet that we do with the silks and all that. So we had to have very high ceilings that we could work from.
Lots of room to move with
Lots
the
of room
dancers.
to move,
Yeah.
yes, for sure.
Now tell me a little bit about your history for the.
Well, I started teaching in 1986. I opened my first studio in Carthage, Missouri, and I was there for 6 years. And then I also went on scholarship to Chicago and danced with Gusher Dono's dance school there. I danced with Dallas Metropolitan Ballet's teachers program, and I've just been going nonstop ever since.
What sparked your initial interest in dance? People like, so how did you get started?
Yeah, I've always loved dance since I can remember. I've always loved performing. I wrote my first play in the 6th grade, so I also love theater. And I think that's why I like doing the type of shows I do, because it's that theatrical mix with the dance genre, which is what most professional ballet companies do. They don't just do recitals or concerts all the time. They have like actual themed or storylines that they follow. And I think as you're training dancers that want to be professional dancers, they have to be able to adapt into that field
Don't get
very
stuck
in
one niche or one type
Absolutely.
of type. Right. Sure. Now you are the artistic director, so explain what that role means.
That means I do everything. No, an actual role of an artistic director is make sure that all the artistic endeavors of the company are taken care of. They're usually the main choreographer for the shows. Okay. I am working on having other people added into a staff, but I've always done it on my own, so it's kind of hard to give up that control.
So you really have created the concept and carried it through for the region.
Oh, yes. Yes. I'm also the costumer, and I have people that help me set design, but I mean, I usually have the initial idea in my head, and they just kind of stare at me like, okay, whatever. But
so that was a big step when you said, I'm going to start this, not only a school, but we're going to have these performances. That must have been a big step for you to say, okay, what can we do for the community?
Right. Well, when I was trying to find a studio to dance here, I mean, I just didn't find anything that felt that need to perform. It was just the need, you know, just go out and stand in a straight line, which I have nothing against that. It's just not my...
It was just, here's how you're going to dance, now you go figure out where to do it.
Exactly. So I found a studio in Carthage with Judith Pendergraft, and I loved her teaching style. She was very Russian and French trained dancer, and which is a very strict technical genre to go into. And that's what drew me into her studio, was that she did performances, she did full-length productions, and that's just what our area needed, because we don't have, I mean, Tulsa Ballet, obviously, but I wanted us to have our own little.
So it's a piece of the arts that we didn't have, that piece of the puzzle when you look at the overall arts throughout
Correct.
the region.
Yes.
Right. And so today you have the facilities, you have the classes. I know you have some pictures we'll be looking at in a moment, but
Yes.
the people who are taking the classes are participants in your performances then?
Yes, they are. We do 2 shows per year. One is just for the company dancers, which are the dancers that are training for a professional field, to go into the professional field. The other one encases all the students of the school and the company, so that everybody gets a chance to perform in a actual storyline show.
Full-scale show.
Full-scale show, yes. We have sets, we have costumes, we have lighting, designer, you know, we have everything.
Just like you would in a theatrical production.
Yeah,
tying that together.
I mean, when we did Cats, we had an opera company came out of Kansas City, Heartland Opera, and they sung the Cats music while we danced it. And we had people that had seen Cats in New York, and they're like, oh my gosh, you were just like right up there with them. So those kind of things make you feel good when people walk away thinking, oh, I just saw a fantastic show, and it was in our area. And we actually get asked all the time if we're from this area. I'm like, yes, we're from Joplin.
So sometimes you feel like you're kind of a hidden secret. People don't know you're here.
Yeah, we're very hidden.
So, well, I know we have some pictures, so as we're talking, we can talk, let people visualize. Because we're talking about dance, but you have some very colorful pictures, and people can see what you have. So if we can call up those pictures on the screen, this catches your eye right away. Tell me what we're looking at here.
Well, this is a picture of one of our very first aerial ballet shows. It was Beauty and the Beast, based on the book, not the movie. This was actually, I envisioned them being roses and vines. So the green silks represented the vines, and their costumes were painted like red and green, like flower, and they had vines on them. And this was actually Jenna Gerritsen was the dying rose towards the end of the show when she has to fall in love with the beast before she completely dies. And this takes a lot of skill. I mean, he's literally hanging by his feet, back and
or back from the rafters.
Yeah, it's wrapped around his back. It's called a straddle, a straddle drop. And she's not hooked onto anything except for his arms.
So they really need to trust each other and know what they're doing.
She was probably about 6 feet in the air, because she has to be able to jump up in there. But normally we work from anywhere between 20 to 27 feet in the air for major roll downs. So once again, another colorful picture. Yes, this is actually still from Beauty and the Beast. As you can see, it's a ballet, but it's more modernized than the classical lines, although she is on point. This is Taylor Mann and Bailey Stiles, who danced with me, and now they've gone on to college and other things.
So a lot of your students go on to study further, or then eventually go on to careers.
Yes, I have dancers that have careers in dance, have their own schools, or teach. They choreograph. This is from Dracula. Jacob Garrett from St. Louis Ballet came in as a guest artist, who was a former student of mine, to dance the role of Dracula. And he actually came in 2 weeks prior to the performance and had to learn all of his.
So he had to work with your company that was already in place and learn his part.
And learn all of his parts in about 4 days. And this is him and Lindsay, who played the role of Mina, which we will be doing Dracula again in April. Lindsay will reprise her role as Mina, but Jacob will not be able to be here, so somebody else will be stepping into his role, who's very good
Very good to help fill that position.
These were two of the vampires doing partnering silks, which if you've ever watched a Cirque du Soleil, they have hydraulics that lift them. We do not. They climb to their...
It takes muscle to get up to those spots,
yes.
Right?
As you can see, they're both very ripped. And Ben is actually an actor in LA right now, the guy that was just
in that scene.
This was towards the end of Dracula, as he was ascending after his death back into the coffin. Actually flew in and out.
So it was a prop that came in and out of the scene for you.
Yes, it came out of the 60-foot ceiling down to the ground, and it was about 200 pounds of metal that he was standing in.
So you really, trust you really working with the people on the props and the background side, the riggings for getting these going.
Rigging is very important when you're doing aerial. So. This was another scene from Dracula. This was Lucy and Jonathan, who was Mina's love interest besides Dracula. And this is from Alice in Steampunk Wonderland, which
you mentioned.
I created and set it to Queen music, because I was vacuuming the floor one day and was listening to Queen. And I was like, hey,
that could be a neat little thing.
Yeah, that fits the Red Queen from Alice. So I created all these costumes. This was Tweedledee and Tweedledum. They were kind of a circus act with a 2-man bicycle.
So you created this concepts for as well?
I created the whole concept.
The whole show, so.
Well, I didn't create the concept of Alice in Wonderland, but I did around the Queen music. We used music like Killer Queen and March of the Black Queen. This was Bicycle, the song Bicycle by Queen. We set the Mad Hatter's scenes in a sane asylum. And we actually had wall dancers, which they danced parallel to the wall, like rock climbing. And it was a crazy little thing called Love and I Want to Break Free. This is Sage, one of my dancers, in a beautiful toe touch line. And we created, I had the backdrop hand painted by an artist in Pittsburgh. And this was Alice with the white rabbit. So we had all the characters, we just had different concept. This was Jenna Gerritsen. This is called a hammock. So it actually spreads out, and she was like a caterpillar that turned into a butterfly from her cocoon.
So she's suspended above the stage.
Yeah, she was probably about 20 feet in the air.
Okay.
This was our Cheshire cat, who did, this is apparatus is called a lyra. It's a metal hoop.
Right.
Which is not very comfortable to swing on, but it looks awesome. And this was our Mad Hatter. And like I said, I designed all the costumes based on the steampunk era.
And keeping that theme throughout the whole show.
Oh,
right?
yes.
Right, tying that together. And, then we
and this was our March Hare, which was in the insane asylum. And you can see the people in the background acting crazy. Yeah. This was the Red Queen's scene, the Queen of Hearts scene, where she was getting ready to go off with a head. This little girl, okay, there's the Red Queen. And this young lady has come a long way. She's a beautiful dancer. She'll be an upcoming bride in Dracula.
And that must be rewarding, where you see them start young, and then as they go through your program, you know, the roles they take on and how they progress throughout the years.
This is Alison Black. This was one of the scenes from Under the Covers. She is getting ready to move to Vegas to dance professionally there somewhere, and amazing young lady, very strong dancer, as you can see.
Right.
It takes a lot of power. There's that stigma that it's all pretty and soft, and it's really so athletic. I mean, for a guy to be able to pick up a girl and carry her across the stage and make her look like she weighs 10 pounds is just amazing to watch.
So fitness is a key to success for these dancers.
Absolutely. We crunch until I don't even know. This was another scene from Dracula. This is one of the vampires up in the silks. She is probably about 25 feet. I'm basing it on the rigging.
Right.
So the riggings are usually about 30 to 35 feet
above
up in the
stage.
air. Yeah.
Right.
And this is actually from our last ballet that we did, Midsummer Night's Dream. So as I said, we do classical ballet. I also designed the costumes for that. And we had the donkey, we had Bottom, and it was about a 1-hour ballet.
Great.
And also from Midsummer, that's our Oberon and our fairy bed that we created. This was Dracula, since the picture says Dracula. That was Lucy and Dracula.
And we're getting into kind of the posters of the pictures things here, right?
And this is a straddle hang. My photographer is Brian DeMint from iWorks Photography, and he catches some amazing stuff during shows. And it's hard to catch dance movement because it goes really fast, especially aerial stuff, and the silks kind of have the mind of their own, so they just do whatever they want. This is Jonathan and Mina. They actually both dance with me. Michael Bowen is my ballroom instructor. They met during Dracula, and now they're married.
Oh, wow. So you need a lot of people who
so I'm also a, I'm just kidding. This is Jacob Garrett in
the Dracula.
Yeah, in his Dracula cloak, which is a very heavy cloak that I made, but it looks beautiful when it's in the air.
It opens and does what you want to do when
Yeah,
they're moving.
absolutely.
That's probably a constant. When you're designing costumes, you have to ask, what does it look like, not only when they're standing still, but when the motion starts?
Right. You want it to have like movement, and he's such a beautiful dancer, and I didn't want to put him in a cape. I didn't want a typical Dracula look.
Right.
So we decided to go with a tailcoat.
Well, I'm interested. You mentioned, designing the costumes and making the costumes. You have the performance side, but then that whole concept of how do we visualize this through the costumes? That must be kind of a fun challenge at times.
It is kind of fun. The kids always love it when I walk in and say I had a dream, because that means there's something crazy about to happen. But I do set and sketch, and I do get a visual feel of fabric and what I want, and I do a lot of research on the characters. If it's like Alice in Wonderland, I do research on what the characters in the cartoon or the movie, the Johnny Depp movie, actually kind of inspired me for costuming, because it had a little bit of a steampunk feel. I've loved steampunk for a very long time. I'm glad it's just now starting to kind of take hold in America, but it's been around for a long time. But it's a really fun concept of costuming.
And do you find that your audiences like that new approach to things? Earlier in the show you mentioned, ballet, people think it's just a traditional type of thing, that you have new ways of doing things.
Yes, I think the men appreciate it more. I think it makes them more comfortable.
They'll go to the ballet with a girlfriend or a wife.
I have a lot of men that come up to me like, I've never seen a ballet. I didn't think I would ever like a ballet, but I'm coming back to all of yours. So that's always a good thing. Yeah. But I think it's because my men dance very masculine. I don't like men that dance feminine. I think that I don't know, it's just,
so the athleticism and what they have will show through their dancing.
Absolutely, absolutely. And of course in Alice, we had some of my guys were shirtless, so the women like that part too. So,
you can see the athleticism at the time.
I had a reporter come and she goes, this was my favorite show.
Well, as we're recording this program, I know you're getting ready just a few days before the Nightmare Before Christmas, but you have other productions lined up and down the road. So we'll talk about some of the things that are upcoming for people who will see this after the first performance.
Well, we have in, like I said, in April, we have 16th through the 19th. We have Dracula. Then next season we start with our Nutcracker with the Southeast Kansas Symphony. So that's going to be fun. We've worked with them once before, and it was so nice to have the live symphony.
Right.
Because you get both kinds of art. You get the musicians that love listening to the musicians play, the orchestra play, and then you have the people who love the ballet. It's very classical ballet. It's it's a holiday tradition.
Right.
And then we have Peter Pan coming in the spring of 2016, and we will have a specific flying company come in to help with the rigging for the actual flying. They do the same flying for Peter Pan in Branson and for the Milwaukee Ballet.
So we saw the aerials on those pictures. You're going to have a lot more aerials with a show like Peter Pan.
This is wired aerial, so they're actually in a harness and a wire, and they control the flying mechanism. So that's going to be fun. And then I'm always working on stuff. I'm trying to work on show, the Scrooge with Trans-Siberian Orchestra music. So I'm always.
So you're working a year and a half or sometimes 2 years out on ideas.
Oh yeah,
for what's
I have so many ideas on paper. I don't. Hopefully I'll live to do them all.
Well, tell me about your dancers who are taking the classes and being able to participate in these programs. I know you have different types of companies, and as far as how young does someone start? Someone might be watching.
Yeah, we take students as young as 3. Obviously they're not going to be in company class. That's geared towards the kids that want to go in a profession. Company classes you have to audition for as you transition through.
So you take the lessons ranks and reach the point of saying I want to audition, right?
Yes, and again it's based. If you want to be a professional dancer, obviously you're going to want to be in the company classes. There's more hours that you have to put into that class. You have to sign a contract to be in that class. The rules are a little stricter for that class. But we take all kinds of dancers.
So they're making a commitment to say, yes, I'll be there for your performances, and I really want to focus on this.
Absolutely, which is what they have to do if they join a company. You have to sign a contract. Difference is you get paid there, and you don't get paid there.
Right.
You get paid in experience, which is very important. And then we have, we don't just teach ballet. We have ballet, which is like the foundation of all dance. We teach hip hop, we teach jazz, tap, Broadway style dancing, contemporary, lyrical, modern. So and then on top of that, the aerial.
Right. Well, this is an area of, dance is something that people hear a lot about now. Of course, you see it on TV with the Dancing with the Stars.
And we do ballroom as well.
So that, people are perhaps, you feel like becoming more aware of it, that the art of dancing, that aspect of it?
Yes, I think people, especially with So You Think You Can Dance. Like I saw a big rush of guys wanting to dance, because I think that seeing it on TV, they're like, oh, it's not that bad, and you get to lift a girl in the air. So who doesn't want to do that? And Dancing with the Stars, I think people are understanding you don't have to be a specific age to dance. You can dance at all ages. We're trying to start some classes called Hoopnotica classes, which is a hula hoop fitness class and belly dancing classes. And then I would like to start a class for 50 and Fabulous, because I'm 52.
So even though you can get older, you can still dance and be active.
Absolutely, you can still dance.
Well, do you find that perhaps, even we hear a lot about the senior citizens becoming active older in life and so forth, that somebody may never have danced in their life, they can still come in and say, I'd like to learn this. I've never had a chance.
Absolutely. Well, you have to structure the class around that, what their training is. I mean, obviously I'm not going to have somebody drop in the splits if you've never danced and you're 49 years old. That would be not a good thing. So you have to structure the class around what you're working with.
Right, but people can still learn at different ages.
Absolutely.
Tying that together.
And it's fun. It's fun to just It's not like you're at a, you know, a strict regimen. You can make it fun, which is what I love having fun.
So when you have your classes, people are supportive of each other. They're working, you know,
Absolutely.
individually, but yet supporting each other through.
Absolutely. I'm not a diva, and I don't allow them in my studio.
Tying that together. Well, you've mentioned a few people who have gone on to, you know, other careers and, you know, success and so forth. So you can get a lot of students who come in, and do you find some that may come in at the beginning, well, I'm not sure about dancing, and then say, get hooked, or say, I really like this now?
Yeah, I get a lot of students that come in and they don't want to take ballet because they're like, oh, I did it before and it was boring. I'm like, well, just try it and see, because I really don't offer a class without a ballet.
It has a concept to it,
yes.
right.
And so then they get in there, and I don't always use classical music. I might do a ballet night, workout night to Pink music or to Prince, and they're like, oh, I'm like, yeah, it doesn't have to be classical music. So although we do most of our ballet.
Traditional classical
Absolutely.
music.
I love tradition, for sure.
When the students who are going through the program, the young ones that progress throughout the years and go on to college, do you hear back from them as they?
Oh yeah, a lot of them stay in contact with me. Actually, probably 80% of them have stayed in contact. I always stayed in contact with my dance teacher, so I used to call her once a month until she passed recently from brain cancer. But I called her once a month just to check on her and talk to her. And I tell you, she was hardcore when I took dance. Back then, you could have the stick, which was always the scary thing, but you can't really do that anymore.
So she was the enforcer of your
absolutely.
tie these together. So you are actually then serving as a mentor for others in their careers as they go along. And
I would like to think so. I also try to mentor to them that, you know, they have a gift that some people don't have, that some people would die to have. So don't waste your gift, don't take advantage of your gift, and try to use it for the community. We do a lot of community services with our performances. We've done fundraising for Children's Miracle Network. We've done Susan G. Komen, the Freeman Breast Cancer Institute. Matter of fact, our upcoming performance, my father recently passed away from cancer, so we're making donations from this performance in his name. And I believe that you should use your gifts
giving
for the
back
community.
to the community
Absolutely.
who's supporting what you're doing,
Absolutely.
and tying that together. And I notice you also work with the Chamber with their Arts and Public Places program.
Yes, I've done Dance with the Stars myself. This will be my 5th year that we're doing it. They're doing another one in February 28th. And that's my giving back to the community myself, because I feel like I'm an artist, so I need to support the arts. And not just for my arts benefit, but for everybody's
the wide
arts.
variety of arts.
Absolutely.
And what is your feeling about how the arts has grown in this region? You know, you've been in the region having this. Have you seen other arts coming up and, you know, building the whole arts concept?
Oh, yeah. I just joined the Cultural Arts Committee at Joplin Area Chamber of Commerce, and I think they've done a fantastic job with the Third Thursday. And I like the fact that it's not just one style of arts, it's all arts combined. And I think that there's a lot bigger things coming. So
I know there's been talk of having a performing arts center, you know, those dreams. You feel that you would
yes.
fall in place and saying, we'd like to have that in the region.
Oh my gosh, that would be fantastic. I actually met with the architectors for that, and they did a tour of the facility and what they were going to do. So if we ever get it, it's going to be fantastic.
So that'll help the arts go even further.
Oh, absolutely.
And we hear a lot about arts and culture really improving the quality of life. I think that's a term the chamber and the city use and so forth. Are you getting that type of feedback when, you know, they're recruiting businesses or somebody comes in? What do you have in Joplin?
Yes. Well, the thing is if you have a place for people to come to, they will come. So the benefits of having a performing arts center with the way they're doing it, I mean, it's unlimited. You can bring in professional dance companies, touring Broadway companies, which brings in revenue to the 4-state area, you know, because those people have places to stay and places to eat and places to shop. And the people that come and see them as well have to have places. I mean, I know I go to Tulsa to see Tulsa Ballet or to go see Wicked. So
while you're there, you're going to eat, you're going to spend money.
Absolutely, you're going to eat, and you got to spend the night somewhere unless you drive back. But who wants to do that?
So you can see that as improvement for the region.
Absolutely, yes. And I think it would also help grow the region. People will move here because they can get the arts. The one thing I lived in Texas for 6 years when I was dancing with Dallas Metropolitan Ballet, and my one thing I loved about that is they had like arts in the park. Where just different dance companies or vocalists just came in. They had like a whole night, and you could bring your blanket, your wine, your cheese, and do a little picnic. It was so nice. It was. I was like,
bringing it to the public.
Oh, absolutely, and it was free. I mean, it was, and they had a stage, and they had professional lighting, and every company had an hour to perform. I was like, this is amazing. We need this.
This is something you'd like to dream to see Joplin
Oh,
having
absolutely.
someday.
Well, and then in this facility, they have an amphitheater that's outdoors. So I was like,
For that type of presentation.
absolutely.
Well, you're very enthusiastic about what you do and the
Yes.
services and performances. What do you enjoy the most? You have so many different roles and different hats that you wear.
Let's see the most. I enjoy everything about it. I mean, I'm tired as heck, but it's a good tired. It's I feel like you've accomplished something tired. I have to say, probably my favorite time is when you see all the hard work done and it's on stage and the curtain comes up and the audience is appreciating it, and I'm usually crying, and because I'm so proud of my kids, like a mama. I don't have children of my own except for the four-legged kind, so all my dance kids are my kids. And to see their accomplishments is always awesome.
That they are succeeding and doing what they're doing. And as we're talking, we're seeing some of your websites. So if people who have tuned in throughout the program want to find out more information, you do have this website. Tell us how we can find it.
It has information about our upcoming performances. It has information about classes. I mean, it's a great website. It's www.midwestregionalballet.com.
Okay, that's where they can find about the performances, how to get tickets, what nights it's going to be, where it's going to be.
Absolutely. And you can find us on Facebook too.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, on Facebook, obviously. Another way, social media is probably a big way that you can get the word out.
Social media is awesome.
Yeah, so a lot of ways to find out what is happening. And, a final thought, your future goals, what would you mention, the Performing Arts Centers, anything that you with the company would like to do, or the...
Oh, I have all kinds of future goals. I mean, I want to get bigger. I want more student base. I want to be able to offer more things besides just dance. I would like to offer music classes, acting classes, just be a whole performing arts type genre. Not in a big way, but just for people who want to dance and go into the field of dance, because you have to know how to act.
There's a lot of crossover between the two.
Absolutely,
right?
Absolutely.
And so that appreciation for the whole concept of a performance, and you've mentioned somebody likes to do set building, you can learn through what your performance is.
Oh yeah, because we build sets.
Yeah, and
we paint them and we design them. Yes.
And a lot of people may not realize this when they're watching a performance. They see the dancers and they say, oh wow, somebody did take a lot of time to do those sets and do those costumes.
It is a lot of time. I think I was at the theater yesterday from about 9 until 11 last night, between rehearsal and painting, and but it's rewarding. It's tiring, but it's rewarding.
Right. Okay, I'd like to thank you very much for visiting and sharing with our audience today.
Thank you
and giving
so
some
much.
information. You're welcome. And I'd like to thank you, the viewers, for joining us this week on Newsmakers. I'm Judy Stiles. Hope you can join me again next week at the same time on this station. We'll see you then.